Blue collar, white collar, black professors, white scholars, politicians, Dalai Lamas. Everybody in the whole wide world need hope if I be honest. I'm in that number.
Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How are you doing today? Now, this is the day after the election. And I got to tell you, even though I am not a Democrat, not a fan of the Democrats, I am a little bit relieved that the Democratic have the House. Having the Republicans having the House, the Senate, and the White House was a little bit too unnerving for me. Now, I'm not going to get too happy because just because the Democrats have the House doesn't mean they're going to push people policies that's going to lift up the average citizen. You know, when Jeremy Corbyn said, for the many, not the few, for the many, not the few. Well, the Democratic Party is no Jeremy Corbyn party. It is not that kind of party at all. And it's not progressive, even though they claim to be progressive. So them having the House and the Republicans having the Senate and still the White House is a short sigh of relief now that they can stop Trump's agenda in its track. And the only thing Trump will be able to do is executive orders. That's it. Because even though the Senate might push something, the House ain't going to agree with it. But then again, we got some of the weakest Democrat, Chuck Schumer, one of them. Heidi Heitkamp is gone, thank the Lord, because all she is a Republican. All we needed was Joe Manchin gone, but the crooked media didn't want to give his contender equal play when it comes to media. To me, anybody that's leaning, Democratic leaning Republican, need to go. And I am all for primarying those people out of office. But yet, if I find somebody in another organization that's more left-leaning, more progressive-leaning, more people pushing than a Democrat, I'm voting for that person. In my governor race, I did not vote for Cuomo. I vote for Howie of the Green Party. But that's not the point of this video. I just want to let you know I'm a little bit relieved. I'm not going to front. I'm not going to front. But the problem I got with this win is this all it's going to be for the next 2 years is using the same old stale tactics to get somebody elected president, which means Trump is going to win again in 2020 if the Democrats don't change his ways. And they never change their ways. They always want to blame Russia. They ain't blaming Russia now because they won the houses. But they always blaming everything but themselves. So I don't trust them to do anything for you and me. All I see them as blockers of Trump agenda. And I'm okay with that as long as that agenda is not good things. He may once in a while do something good. And I don't want them blocking that because Trump doing it and they don't want Trump to do it. They want to do it, which is dumb and childish. Now, hopefully this will put Trump in a position where it takes some of the air out of his butt, you know, and out of his brains, kind of, because he's kind of gassed up anyway. So hopefully they'll put some pressure. Now he know he's going to get a hard hit when it comes to him drafting his policies. But then again, there's some things that the Democrat is so freaking weak on, it doesn't make sense. But that's not the story. I want to talk about yesterday's race, and I'm going to talk about individual races all over the country. Mainly minorities. Minority women kicked butt last night. Minority women kicked butt. Stacey Abrams was running against a corrupt Secretary of State that runs the election. So she knows, she feels in her heart there's some funny play in that. But the bottom line is this, and get this please, black people showed up. Black people showed up in big numbers. I guarantee you, in Florida and in Georgia, it was about 90-something% black people showing out, and most of them are going for Gilliam and Stacey Abrams. But the problem with that, and I love that, is you got to have more than black people to beat some of these Republicans. Even the racist one, the borderline racism. They may not act like it, they not think it, but they're racist. You see it in their actions. You know a person buys fruits, and their fruits are racist fruit. DeSantis, I can keep going on and on. Racist fruits. Now, my problem with this race is a whole bunch. Why did Andrew Gilliam lose this race? Well, like I said, getting the black vote out is not enough. First thing Andrew Gilliam failed at is that he forgot that the Democratic Party, the DNC and the DCCC didn't want to have nothing to do with him and a whole other blacks that was running for office. Didn't want nothing to do with them. Wasn't willing to fund them. Some of them 9 times out of 10 told them you need to step down because we already got our chosen one. And when it came to DCCC and when it came to the DNC, Gilliam was not their man. Just like Obama was not their man. Hillary Clinton was their choice. Just like Hillary Clinton was their choice in the Democratic Party when it came to the 2016 election. Well, they wanted Senator Bob Graham's daughter. That's who they wanted to push for this gubernatorial race. Forget you, black brother. Go sit your butt down. We don't want you in this race. We're asking you to step down. Well, he knew in his heart this is something he needed to go for. So guess who come to the rescue? Justice Democrats. Our revolution. Now, like I got my little thing with them too. Brand new Congress, I got them too. Because there's already third parties out there. All they had to do was go support that and prop that one up. But they choose to do something on their own. And sometimes, and I got to say, it's been effective. It's been more effective than some areas of politics and some other parties. I got to tell the truth. Me, I'm a Green Party voter, but the Justice Democrats in our revolution put people in office. They put people in office. I got to admit it. Problem is when you're black and you're running for office, or when you're running for office, period. You don't have to be black. Number one, you got to realize that the black vote is not something you should assume that you're going to get and not something you should take advantage of. The black vote is very powerful. The Hispanic vote is very powerful. The LGBT community vote is growing to be a powerful vote. Now, what does got to do with Gilliam? Well, like I said, they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So Bernie Sanders and our revolution gravitate toward this guy to help him run a grassroots, progressive, left-leaning campaign. $15 minimum wage, Medicare for all, no-cost education. And I can go on and on, dealing with the housing issues and things like that, military spending and things like that. He ran on that. What started his decline in his race in the general election was when he began to shy away from that. Number one, when you start talking about, not talking about Medicare for all, not talking about single payer in general, not talking about making sure everybody get a decent education, no low-cost college, no-cost college, $15 minimum wage, when you stop saying that and pumping that out within the face of the voters that you're trying to get their votes from, you begin to go backwards. You begin to lose. Everybody wants a living wage. Everybody wants, majority of Americans want a living wage with increases based on inflation and cost of living. Most of them want that. You stop talking about that. I don't think there's nobody really worth their salt that do not want to continue to pay outrageous fees for health care. I have majority of people, and the polls show it, wouldn't mind having a single payer health care system. But he stopped talking about single payer and started talking about Obamacare and making adjustments on Obamacare. What happened when you did that? Sure, you kept some of the black voters. Because either way, Obamacare, single payer all for black voters is better than them not having any of that. Not knowing that single payer is the best thing to do. It benefits black votes, Hispanic voters, voters all around in demographic. When you shied away from that, he lost his edge. He turned off independence. And some blacks, I said it in the previous videos, what he's doing is going to cost him the election. So that's number one, backtracking and not continue to run on the thing that got you the nomination in the first place. You were behind. The Democrats didn't want you. The DCCC didn't want you. They had their chosen person. You went backwards in the general, and stop talking about the very things that got you elected. The very things that got independents on your side, as well as blacks, Hispanics, and even some Republicans. You push back. Now, don't get me wrong. Overall, even when you did that, you still ran the close race. But you could have blew that race out if you stuck with your gun. Number two thing that caused Gilliam to lose this election. And I fault Gilliam for a lot of these things. I don't fault the voters. Black vote was strong. I don't know about the Hispanic vote, but voters went out. When you started courting, Obama is okay. No big deal about Obama. Of course, you're going to lose a lot of independents messing around with Obama. Of course, black people going to love you. Independents, you're going to lose it because a lot of independents remember about Obama slapping the hands of the financial industry and not prosecuting them. Just like Kamala Harris, letting them go. Not only that, he hired a bunch of them instead of putting them in jail. People lost their houses, their life savings, and he just slapped them on the wrist. Independents remember that. So when you bring out Obama, sure, you're going to get the black votes, but independents who you desperately need to win, people, are turned off about that, and they're going to turn the other way. And that's what happened when it came to the race with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. A lot of people went and voted for Trump because the very person that she is what they don't want to be. They don't want to have nothing to do with that. After she cheated and rigged the elections with Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they refused to give her award of an election in the presidency as long as she's cheating. And you expect somebody to vote for her anyway. Those independents, they took a chance on Trump. Even though Trump lied and ain't done nothing for them, they'll rather take a chance on him than her because they know she ain't going to do nothing for them. They know it. But what you did, Gilliam, what Gilliam did, he began to bring these people out. Debbie Wasserman Schultz rigged the 2016 election. Hillary Clinton was pretty much running the DNC from her headquarters in Brooklyn and taking the down ballot money that they needed to win these House races. See, that didn't happen this time. But the money that was raised, she took the money and fed her campaign instead of feeding the down ballot. It is documented, proved. No, not up for discussion, not up for the debate. It happened. And I believe it's a crime, but nobody's really pushing her on that. And to me, I think her butt need to be in jail for that. Rigged the election against another Democratic, all because she wanted to be the nominee. When you start trying yourself and hanging around Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Donna Brazile, Hillary Clinton, talking about stumping for you, that's when you continue to turn even more independents away from you. Sure, you got majority of black people on the side. You got some Hispanic. Not that much. I don't know about the Cuban demographic, but sure you got them. But the people that you need to win elections is the independent vote and the non-voters. Don't you dare forget that demographic. You don't win that, you don't get a blowout. If you always ignore the independent base, that's why you need to have open primaries, not closed. When you ignore the independent base, when you try to force somebody to join your party, and you don't just embrace anybody that has the ability to vote, when you do that, you will lose. When you discount them and do that, you will lose. Bernie Sanders would have won New York, but he couldn't because 3 million independents were not able to vote. Why? Because New York is a closed primary, and their last day of registration is 6 months before the freaking election happens in New York City in the primaries. And the Democrats know that, and that's one of their advantage pieces. They don't want to open it up to Election Day because they know independents will go out strong and pick the candidate for the Democratic Party versus the DNC and the DCCC picking the candidate like they tried to do with Gilliam. As you went back on your own platform and started entertaining centric platform, you began to pull out all the centric people instead of people that help you get there, like Tulsi Gabbard, Bernie Sanders, and like I said, Nina Turner. Like I said, I don't agree with these people a whole lot, but I do understand that these are the people that stumped for you and got you to where you need to go. These are the very people that need to stump for you to get you to where you need to get to. You could have had a blowout, man. You could have had a blowout because those two things right there decided to turn independence away from you, and that's why you didn't get the vote. And you can't expect, and a lot of people say, well, people didn't go out and vote. No, black people went out and vote. Hispanic went out and vote. People like Gilliam and other people in the Democratic Party and some other party always ignore the independent base, always ignore the non-voter. The non-voter wants to go out and vote, but you got to give them something to vote for. You got to earn their vote. You don't get it. You don't demand it. You don't expect it. You got there and earn it. And he did not. He earned it getting through the primaries, but when he got to the general, he totally flipped them off and forgot about the independents. Like I said, it's good. You're going to have the minority. You're going to have Hispanic. You're going to have the black vote. Locked in the bag. Anybody black that's worth their salt going to get that vote. And if you're going against a racist, they're going to come out in strong numbers for you to stop the racists. Because the number one agenda in their mind is to stop fascism. That's the number one agenda. It ain't about the policies. Stop fascism. But you got to have more than that. So while you're trying to stop fascism, you got to put yourself in a position where you're going to draw a lot of independents to your side, like Bernie did. But the moment you start going back on your platform and start embracing a centric platform, the moment you start trying out Hillary Clinton, David Wasserman Schultz, maybe Donna Brazile, maybe John Lewis, maybe Nancy Pelosi, maybe Obama, when you start trying out Democrats to go out there and campaign for you, when those very Democrats didn't want you to be in the race again, you lose your independent people who are willing to vote for you. And you are not going to win an election if you do that. The black vote is enough. We shouldn't have known that with Doug Jones. Barely winning. Barely winning is not enough. You got to blow these people out. Don't settle for barely winning. Settle for blowout. And had you stick with your guns and stay with what got you the nomination in the first place, you would be governor. Not painting yourself as pro-people. Not painting yourself as Santa Claus to the people. Is this what the people want in majority? I'm going to work hard to give the people what they want. Hey, you want $15, $16, $17 minimum wage? I'm going to work for you. I'm going to make that happen. That's going to be on my agenda. You want to make sure that you and your kids be able to go to get preventive care and stay out of the hospital more than anything without coming out of your pocket paying a lot of money? I'm going to do whatever I can to make that happen. You want your kids to go to some of the best and brightest school? I'm going to do my best to make that happen. You need funding for your school? You got to give the people what they want. And as long as those people are polling to want those things in high numbers, you offer it to them, you would have got more people out there and win. The last thing I want to talk about is this, man. Gilliam had that race, but he outgored it. The last results that we got of that race to this day right now, Ron DeSantis, 49.7%. 49.7%. Andrew Gilliam, 49%. That is a dead heat freaking tie. And the provisional ballots are not in. And the mail-in ballots and all that stuff is not in. Yet you going to sit there and concede at 49% and he's at 49%. No fool will do that. In election, Stacey Abrams, she already know the deal. She's like 3-4 points behind. And she's not giving up the fight because she knows who she's running against. And she knows there's some rigging going on. And how could you not believe that there's some rigging going on in your area, in the state of Florida, when the state of Florida was known to be the Al Gored it up state? You talking about monkey up? You Al Gored it up. What do you mean by Al Gored it up? Al Gore conceded without allowing the election results to turn in. That's why I like Ralph Nader. If it weren't for Ralph Nader, George Bush would have had more election points. Ralph Nader took more, so-called, he didn't take it. Ralph Nader earned more votes to draw the win out of Bush more than it did for Gore. A lot of people say, well, if it wasn't for Nader in the race, Gore would have run. No. The reason Gore got what he got in that race is because Nader was in a race. And a lot of Republican light people and a lot of independents decided not to go for Bush. They went with Nader. They definitely wasn't going with Gore. And if he was not in the race, Gore wouldn't have got those votes either. Bush would have got those votes. But because of Nader, a lot of lightweight Republicans, a lot of independents went with Nader, which brought the vote count down from Bush and pretty much made it even playing with Gore. But Gore gored it up. He conceded too freaking early. You conceded too early, bruh. 49.7%. DeSantis, and you at 49. I heard 49.6. I heard he lost by 0.1%. Not 1%, 0.1%. This is a statistical data. You have this, man. And I'll guarantee you, people, when it's all said and done, you're going to find out that Gilliam won that race. Gilliam won that race. Bet money. But no, because he conceded so early. Because he punked out. Who is his advisor? Now Florida has been robbed of their first black governor. Now why I gotta be black? Because most of the time, your chance of getting things done from the people will come from people who've been through the struggle, or people who know people that's been through the struggle. And I'll always believe that a black man that's been through the struggle is prone to do right by all people than a corporate white guy who haven't been any, rich white guy who have not been in any struggles. Not saying it can't happen, but Donald Trump ain't never been through no struggles. And I don't care how much you say this, Donald Trump ain't got no policy that's going to lift up black people. Those jobs, that unemployment, that's a long-term structure built by Obama, and he's riding the wave off it. So these are things that cost Gilliam the election. And all of them was on him. It wasn't the voters. Black voters went out strong. You can't expect 100% of black people come out and vote for you. Can't. That's just oxymoron, because 100% ain't going to vote for a Democrat. Not all black men are Democrats, and they have reasons to not be. I have reasons not to be a Democrat. That's why I'm not one. I lean toward the Green Party, but occasionally I vote for Democrats. In the state of New York, I vote for Tish James. I vote for a bunch of Georgia judges that are Democratic, and two friends of mine that's in the state Senate that I know personally. They my buddies. I voted for them. I know them. And I just did a video after the Hillary Clinton shellacking from Donald Trump, losing to a game show host and a fraud and a fake real estate developer and a cheat. Because everybody know in New York, that's what he is. That's why he couldn't run for office. He didn't run for office in New York because he would have lost. But he was able to dupe a whole bunch of Republicans. He's a used car salesman selling lemon cars. Sooner or later it's going to break down. All right? So Gilliam lost this race on his own. He got off his progressive policy that got him there. He did rail against, he should have railed against the Democrats that did not support him. He should have talked about how they refused to allow him to have the funding that he need to win this election, the DCCC and the DNC. He should have talked about, hey, but it's okay. I'm not in this for a Democrat just because I got the name. I'm really in this for you. You should have played that card. Number two, you shouldn't have never trotted out these corporate Democrats when you know you're supposed to be running on a progressive campaign. Stick with what got you there. And more importantly, you dropped out too early, bro. You dropped out too early. That's crazy, man. Anyway, I got a lot more I want to talk about concerning this election, and I'm just starting here with this. This was a dumb mistake by Gilliam. These are the things, smart, intelligent brother. And here I am. I'm a regular brother from down the way. My IQ isn't all that. But common sense will tell you how you lost that election. Jumping off the very thing that got you there, not sticking with the platform that got you there, not pushing that all the way through the general, strong, hard, fast, and bold. You hanging out with those corporate Democrats when you should have been with the progressive Democrats or progressives, period, and talk loud and proud about what you plan on doing. And more important, you quit too early, man. You quit too early. And I know you're regretting it, man. Oh, man. All the ballots are not in, bruh. I'm telling you. Once everything is done, I guarantee you probably got closer to the point that you would have had a runoff. If you wouldn't have quit, you would have had a runoff today. But you quit. And that's the problem with most Democrats. Most corporate Democrats are cowards. They're quitters. Now, Republicans, I don't even talk about them, man, because it's just obvious. A bunch of men that have no guts, no balls, and they don't care about the working class of the people. All they care about lining up their pocket, helping out the corporate donors, so when they get booted out of office, they'll have some board to sit on with these corporations. And some of the Democrats are doing the same thing. Chuck Schumer is doing it. A whole bunch of other people doing it. They got careers when they leave here. But what about you? What about you? You got to put people in office that's going to have your best interests. And according to what I've seen so far, Gilliam had your best interest, but it stopped. Who told you to quit, man? I want to smack him. Drop kick him. Rock bottom. Who told you to quit, man? You had this thing. After all the smoke is cleared, you're going to find out that you was the winner. But no. Now the people of Florida are going to have to suffer with this racist, bona fide racist. Now, he do have a bright future. I mean, to come out of nowhere, to not have the backing of the DCCC and DNC until after you win. Oh, now you want to come to the party. Now, on the one, you want to be down with me. And he let him be down with him. But had he not run, there's no way any other person would have got that nomination. Bob's granddaughter wouldn't have came nowhere near to 49%. He did a hell of a job. And I'm proud of him as a black man. Working his butt to the bone to try to help people. But you made mistakes, bruh. We all make mistakes. You got when you run for attorney general or when you run for Senate, because you're in a position now where you got enough name recognition out there that you can get a certain district. You can win a certain district and go on to D.C. That's your next bet, because right now, the 4 years, I will run for the Senate next 2 years and then possibly go for governor the next 4 years. You're young, you got plenty of time. If I was you, I'd take my time and prepare to run for the Senate in the next 2 years, in 2020. And then in 2024, I will try to, you have a future to run for office, but you got to stick with progressive policies, man. And you can't do this mess what you just did.